Welcome to another 10-minute episode of Everything Sports in the Morning. I'm your host, Evan Garber, and today we're going to be talking about the NBA referee issue. It's been a lot of head coaches talking about the problems or issues they have with referees. Specifically in the press conferences, they've been kind of bashing them. We'll talk about a good amount of those moments, and I'll give you my thoughts on the issue and how it could not necessarily be fixed, but maybe how we can at least tweak how those NBA referees can tweak their calling throughout the games. But before we get into that, make sure to subscribe and like down below, of course, as follow us on all of our social media platforms so don't miss out any of our content. Of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is our 10-minute episodes, and then on Saturdays we post our longer episodes and of course shorts coming out almost every day. So make sure to follow us on all our platforms so you don't miss out on any of that content. But this issue. I'm just talking about this issue today because of course we saw what happened yesterday between the Pistons and the New York Knicks. If you don't know, the Pistons were up by one late when Asar Thompson stole the pass from Dante DiVincenzo, and Asar was running up the court. And Dante went for the steal and kind of just dove and took out Asar's legs, and somehow, some way, no foul was called. Jalen Brunson ended up with the ball, passed it over to Josh Hart. Josh Hart got an and one layup, and that ended up winning the game, 113 and 111 for the New York Knicks. After the game, referee crew admitted that they were actually wrong, and of course, Pistons head coach Monty Williams was very, very pissed off. He said, quote, "The absolute worst call of the season, no call." And, he has every right to say that. Of course, he will be fined for those comments, but he has every single right to say that it was clearly a foul. I don't understand how you can not call a foul when someone literally takes out a player's legs. Like, I get it, yeah, it's the end of the game and you don't want a foul to dictate the end of the game, but when it's blatantly obvious like that, you have to call it. I don't care what the situation is. Like, you can't you can't, you got these tic-tac fouls for just touching a guy's arm or whatever, just breathing on them, but then when a guy gets his legs taken out, like when a guy can seriously get hurt, you don't call it whatsoever. It's just so stupid. And just the day before that, we had the Lakers head coach Darvin Ham. He called out the refs for their inconsistency in their loss to the Suns, 123 to 113. In that game, the Lakers had just 8 free throws versus the Suns' 19 free throws. And you can say all you want about the Lakers getting a lot of free throws through every single game. It seems like they average 15 free throws. I don't know. Average a lot of free throws per game. So you can see it's just the refs finally not calling fouls on them. But with their style of play, they draw a lot of fouls. That's how they play. They're not necessarily a great three-point shooting team, so they attack the rim and they draw a lot of fouls. So the Lakers having 8 free throws is definitely questionable. Like I said, the inconsistency is just not there for the referees. And then last month, we all saw this probably. Mike Brown, Kings head coach, he was ejected after showing frustration. In his post-game conference, which we all probably saw, he brought out his laptop and showed the whole world, showed the media exactly what he's talking about, exactly the inconsistency he was talking about in their 143 to 142 loss versus the Bucks on a Dame Lillard buzzer beater, 3-pointer. And then of course we all saw the memes and everything about that, but he was definitely right about that as well. A lot of consistency in that game, a lot of inconsistency throughout the NBA in general. But I'll bring up another one. Last month also, Raptors head coach Darko Rajakovic, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but we all saw his rant about the officiating in their 132 to 131 loss to the Lakers. In that game, the Lakers took 36 free throws versus the Raptors 13, including 23 in the fourth for the Lakers and only 2 for the Raptors in the fourth quarter. The Lakers do get a lot of free throws, but there's definitely something fishy when the free throw disparity is that big, especially when you have a Raptors team that isn't necessarily a great three-point shooting team either. They're not gonna shoot the lights out or anything. So I don't know. It's definitely a big, big, big free throw disparity. It should definitely not be over 20 in my eyes. I think it should be, if anything, around the 10 mark as the highest, maybe 15 as the highest to be in a game. But 23 free throws disparity. I don't care if you're the Lakers or what. You definitely should not be a 23 free throw disparity in a game. And then in December, Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, he busted the refs for the free throw problem of today's NBA, is calling the second half of the Christmas Day versus the Lakers, or sorry, the Nuggets. He called it, quote, disgusting to watch. And I mean, I'm a Warriors fan, and if you watch the Warriors game, you know very, very well that there's a huge inconsistency among referees. Specifically when you look at the calls the opponents get versus what the Warriors get. And I mean, there's a huge reason why Curry only shoots 5 free throws a game versus guys like Luka who shoot 9 free throws a game. And yeah, you can say it's because of the play style. As Luka is a guy who likes to draw fouls. Curry necessarily isn't. But when you watch the games, you clearly see that Curry deserves to have around 9 free throws a game. He gets fouled a ton. He gets scratches on his arm. You can see when he goes to the basket, he typically seems to be fouled. But somehow, some way, he doesn't get the same calls as guys like Luka, guys like LeBron, guys like Giannis. There's a lot of guys you can point to that they get so many tic-tac fouls. But Curry, he gets slammed to the floor and gets no foul call whatsoever. It's very, very interesting to see. You would think that most stars would get the foul calls, but Steph Curry is one of those exceptions. Somehow he doesn't. Some way he doesn't get a foul call, and if he does get those fouls calls, like he'd be averaging like 35 points a game. He'd be averaging an insane amount of points per game if he did actually get foul calls. He'd be putting at 40 pieces regularly. Like, just imagine what Curry would be if he actually did get foul calls. And then one more moment I'll point to is in November, Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins called officiating effing atrocious after 127-121 loss to the Jazz. In this game, Jaren Jackson Jr. was ejected after he received double T's for arguing with the refs. And also in this game, the Jazz attempted 29 free throws versus the Grizzlies 13. I know a lot of these moments, I'm pointing to, has a lot to do with the free throw disparity. And the reason that this free throw disparity is a really big issue. Like, yeah, sometimes it is warranted. Sometimes it is teams actually just drawing much more fouls and deserving much more fouls than the opponent. But a lot of it's complete inconsistency with referees. Like, as I said, the Warriors, they receive no calls whatsoever, and teams like the Lakers, they receive millions and millions upon millions of calls. And there needs to be some sort of middle ground, some consistency between the refs. Like, what's a foul for one team should always be a foul for another team. It doesn't make any sense. And then late in games, like, yeah, I get it. Sometimes you want to not determine the outcome of a game based on some ticky-tack foul call, but there should be consistency between that too. Like, if one game you're not gonna call a foul, then have it the same way for every single game. Like, even different refereeing crews, like, it should be the same among every single referee crew. If you're gonna, as a league, decide to in the last 2 minutes, not call many fouls, that should be the way it is. That should be ways for every single game. It should not be like just one referee crew does this, one referee crew does that. There has to be so much consistency, so much more consistency between referees. I think that's the main problem. Like, yeah, you can say the NBA is soft. Yeah, you can say a lot of these fouls are not fouls. And that, what is foul nowadays is completely different from what it was in the 80s, 90s, whatever it may be. But I think the main issue is just consistency among these refs. Yeah, the game right now is a little bit not fun to watch because of all those foul calls you get. But unfortunately, that's just the way the NBA is right now. That's just the way it's evolved, and it's kind of hard to change that. Yes, you can say you can stop calling less tic-tac fouls, but then it's kind of like, what is a tic-tac foul then? What is the line between what isn't a foul. I mean, even right now, it's kind of a hard line to draw between what is and what isn't a foul. And I think that's partially because the what we see called and what we see not called, and how it's changing every single day. It seems like, but there really has to be just so much more consistency, as I keep mentioning. Um, it's going to be a very tough change, of course, for the NBA for this to happen, but the NBA needs to have a meeting. They need to meet with the referees and draw up some sort of plan to be consistent for every single ref across the league. We can't having these games decided by one team getting so many free throws, one team not getting so many free throws, or these late calls not being called, the late calls being called sometimes, but also not being called some other times. Like, there needs to be so much change in the way these games are refereed. Of course, Adam Silver has to do his job finally, which I know he won't, but Adam Silver better do his job. He better go out, talk to the referees, and make some change, because it's getting way out of hand. It's not fun to watch for anybody. It's not fun for the players, not fun for the fans, not fun for the teams, of course, not fun for anybody involved, really. Because Adam Silver, if like, you're gonna lose money easily, because nobody wants to watch this game. Nobody's gonna want to watch this ugly NBA game if you don't make changes. So, Adam Silver, please go out there and make some changes. I mean, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment on your takes on NBA referees, but there needs to be change right now. If you're Adam Silver, please change something. We need it so badly.